not do one and then 6 months down the road have the public backlash and the criticism and involve the ministry at that point, and then have to do one anyways. I think it's better for us to be upfront and transparent in this case and have the ESR done. Addendum, yeah, ESR addendum done. It's I think it's fairly academic in nature. It should be a low-cost endeavor, and it's probably the right thing to do just so we've got all our ducks in a row and we're moving along. Based on those timelines, I show option number 3 at 38 months. I've added in 2 extra months to what Stantec has included, and those 2 months represent times for partners to solicit professional firms to do final design and some of the other engineering works. So option 3, I bumped up to 38 months, looking at the worst case scenario, and that takes us to a finish date of November 1st of 2015. Option 4, it's around 35 months at August 1, 2015. Next, we talked to costs. So I provided the same breakdown that Stantec has with costs, and then flipped it over to what the impact would be to land and shores. So we've applied and assumed that the 2/3 funding from BCF will be applicable. We've assumed that the $1 million from FCM will be applicable. And that shows our net share of the capital cost of both options. We talked to the fact that we have to add in 8% for construction and management after the fact that it's not included. So really, I think the table in the report on page 17 of the agenda probably shows it best comparing the 4 options. It does show that option 3 is the most cost-effective right now. But in the next section of my report, that's where I really basically say I think, in the essence of time, I think we need to make a decision on this project if it's going to go forward and with what technology, probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks, because those timelines are so tight and because life happens and things probably will get pushed back. It's still my opinion that both options are technologically, they're equivalent. They both treat sewage. The end result will be the same. They have positives, they have negatives. I think you'll see from an operating technology standpoint, they're probably balanced. So in my mind, I think that, the choice does come down to cost. And when I'm looking at a decision like this, I think it needs to be the full cost, the full project cost over the lifespan of the project. So that would be the 40-year cost. So consider the immediate cost, which we know as those capital costs. We have a reasonable amount of accuracy in those numbers. Then look at those future costs over 40 years. So the first phase, 20-year operating cost. The second phase, 20-year operating cost. What the cost is going to be to expand in the future, and then all of our financing costs. In this case, I'm not going to get into my sort of kind of wax poetic a little bit about the theory of future cost evaluations. The future presents a lot of unknowns for us, and I don't. At this point in time, we could probably pick a set of criteria or 2 set of criteria and do a future cost analysis, but that really only represents 2 snapshots. So for me to say that I have an accurate way to tell you what's going to happen in the future, I don't. So it makes a 40-year cost evaluation very hard. So I suppose that's why I'm lucky I have staff, and I don't have to make a tough decision, but it's that 40-year full cost analysis I don't think is possible at this point to a reasonable degree of accuracy. And I wouldn't want to lead counsel in any certain way presenting what I thought was a worst case and best case, because I think it would show very different results in many cases. So at the end of the report, I've talked about some other considerations that I think we do need to make. In Stantec's report, it does note the service delivery option. We discussed this at the working group, and at that level we felt that the conventional service delivery of an engineer to design, and then we tender, and then a contractor bids and builds is probably the best way to do it. It offers us the most control over the process. The risk of litigation, I put my qualifier in here, and I always will do this. Mike's a little different than I'm always going to tell you that you should get legal advice from a lawyer. So Mike and I as engineers are trained in contract law. We do do have a reasonable idea of what may happen, but we're not lawyers and we should never get legal advice from lawyers. And I think that's the first thing it says in my law textbook at home when I read it last night. So if at the end of the day this decision comes down to the risk of litigation, I highly recommend that you get legal advice, because I don't think you should rely on your staff or engineer's advice. That's no offense to you, Mike, but that's just, that's the qualifier I have to make. We touch on the working group. And this is more clarity because we have to start thinking of what's happening after today if we make a decision, or after the point in time we do make a decision. The working group's mandate was to be an information collection body and produce a report to the Joint Board and Council, which is fulfilled, I think, as of today. So I'm just wondering if council turns their mind to it, does the working group become dissolved? Does it form a technical steering committee in the future? Or what happens with the working group, so that everybody's very clear in the part, so both partners are on the same page and we can facilitate that discussion. And I also touch on a joint board agreement. We've been working since January 31st without an agreement. The reason we went to the OMB the first time was because South Huron was very excited that we were operating this project without a joint agreement. So it's probably time to really turn our minds to doing that. If we come to some resolution or some decision on how we're going to move forward, I hate to see us go back to the OMB or be forced to go back. I think probably now's the time when relations are amicable and we can probably work it out as gentlemen and gentlemen.
Okay.
I hope we can see those new documents yet.
So we vote? They're amicable?
Yes. That's my report, and
You're sticking to it.
as only
Questions for Brent? Mr. Russell.
On the litigation, thanks for that advice. I clarified it more than the report by saying that. That's quite good. And I think we do both agree on the same subject. Is there any, right now, other than K&L, is there any fear of it, from your point of view, from engineering experience that you could have seen in the past?
I can say that our lawyers given us opinion on this topic in the past.
Yeah, we did have that
Yeah.
opinion originally.
And
but we closed the door on that one at that point.
yeah, and he felt that, you know, if approached correctly, the risk of litigation is minimized. But as Mike said, it's a free country,
Yeah, it's a
and
free country.
you can litigate anytime.
I mean, I always go back to the former firm I was with, and actually before I joined them, did a project in Kamoka like 15 years ago, and about 5 years ago, they ended up getting success. There were tender irregularities, and the second low bidder was able to successfully sue for loss of profit, even though he didn't do any work. And you know, so I mean that risk is always there, and it never makes any sense to me why somebody could get loss of profit when they didn't have any, you know, do anything. But
Good lawyer.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Question? Councilor Underwood.
Yes, option 3, talking about redundancy. Now, in my previous life as working on helicopters and stuff, being able to have redundancy in any operating system is like gold, just so you can shut something down while you're doing something else. The smaller setup that it is, though, it is able to expand future to a larger capacity even with the dual trains that are smaller. I just want to make sure that that's possible.
Yeah, it would be designed to be expandable. And you know, we would push to have features in there to make that expansion easier in the future. So like Mike said, block walls so that they're easier to knock out rather than cement walls. Make sure you run the pipes in the right direction. And we have to look at the plant footprint as well to make sure that we provide space for those future expansions.
And those are redundant questions.
Councilor Owen, question?
You don't, Brett, you don't have any concern with the flow equalization solution, do you?
No, well, it's a lower tech, more cost-effective way of doing it rather than painting equipment. In theory, it works great. Speaking to some operators during the research for my report, there are other places that have done this and they do have issues. But we rely on people like Mike's firm to design things correctly and make sure that it's going to work. And if it doesn't, we've got the statute of limitations where we can go back and